definitely had the experience of being like an animal by stepping into their energy field, or there's an agreement to be able to feel what it feels like to fly like a bird. I think that'd be pretty cool for all of us when we transition to know what that feels like. But it doesn't mean necessarily that we will become that animal or that kind of animal, or that an animal will become a human. So that's just something I wanted to share on that, because it is kind of an interesting topic. So, okay, we know we love them. How do we communicate with them? I can tell you more of my experience with that. Like we said, we're obviously going to be talking to them. You can speak with them and all those things verbally. My guides, and when I say my guides, I work with spirit guides that do a lot of this clairaudience channeling. They are of the light. I don't deal with anything that's negative. And they will tell me that what's really important with your animals is that you communicate with them both verbally, but also telepathically. Now, they pick up on things anyway, but we kind of say, well, why not do that? This is just an extra little bonus. So if you're going on a trip, for example, you're going somewhere on vacation, and do take the time to tell your pets. I'm sure many of you do that, first of all, verbally. Talk to them like they are human, and tell them that I'm going to be gone, from this time to this time, and so will be taking care of you, but make sure that you're telling them this. What I used to do with my kitty cats is they would say, I would tell them things, but I would also show them, I would send them images in my mind's eye of like the moon. And I would show them how many moons I'll be gone. And I feel like because they understand that realm a little bit better than we do in some ways, that's just a way for them to connect with that, to let them know that, okay, I can almost like count the moons. So our guides will say, you're telling them verbally, also telepathically. So it means you just told them everything, going to be gone for a while, and then take time to just close your eyes and send those thoughts to them. Just know that they're picking up on it, and they are, and they appreciate it. Is it absolutely necessary? Probably not. But my guides will often say, why not? It's just an extra little thing to help them out, to know that, you're going to be gone for a while, you're going to be back. What do animals say to us? That can say for me. Certainly now that they're in spirit, I've had many communications with them, and they will just talk about how wonderful it is, just like I hear from loved ones, that there are many animals here, there are many angels that take care of them, and that they're loved. And they'll always remind me, because I use home and heaven interchangeably. I usually say home, refer to as home. But they'll tell me that, they'll say mama, because that's my word often for really anybody I do a reading for. The owner, the mom is mama. It will how it will come through. Mama, I'm home. Because I kept preparing him, he was almost 21 when he passed, and we had to help in transition, which we all know is really, really difficult to do. Many of you had to do that. But it's a gift that we give them in that way, for them not to have to suffer. But yeah, so when I tune in my Jake, for instance, it's always, Mama, I'm home. Remember, I'm home. Like, remember reminding me that I told him, And my other cat is there. They'll talk about running around, climbing trees, running through the grass, all lovely things. Things we hope for our animals that are in spirit. But you're going to have to take my word for it and trust in that. I'm just telling you, they do transition. They do go to a very lovely place, but they also will come in and visit us. Easy to do their energy, just like people that cross on the other side. Suddenly you're feeling your loved one around. Well, that's because it's so easy. It's so easy to be wherever at any given moment they need to be, and we'll all be in that situation again, what I've learned, what I've been told. So yeah, they'll come and visit us in the house. Pay attention to any signs. You might feel them. They might jump on your bed. I've had some pretty amazing experiences with that myself after they had transitioned. One time, this was kind of interesting. One of our kitties had passed. His name was Bernie, and I was playing with Jake, who was still with us at that time, and I was playing with a string, and that happened to be Bernie's favorite string. And so I'm playing with Jake, and it was the most interesting thing. I heard down the hall, this little tap, 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 tap. And I stopped, and I looked at Jake, and we had looked down the hallway at the same time. And I said, you heard that, didn't you? And Jake, sent me the thoughts, yes, because it was Bernie visiting, and he was getting excited because I'm playing with the string, So it was his way of letting us know that he's around us still and loves us and all that good stuff. I have felt the jump on the bed kind of thing, amazingly so, and I was not quite asleep. I was definitely not dreaming. Felt it, and I felt him climb on my back, and I heard this really loud purr in my ear. That it's almost like that internal kind of sound, that it's not really the norm, right, that you would hear. And I remember saying, not so loud, because it was so loud. And then I felt him jump off, and I knew he was going into my kids' room. I just knew it. Maybe he was heading in that way. So they'll be around to still comfort us as much as they can, just like our loved ones do. So again, communication is about, well, I could go to any form of meditation. Does anybody have a ritual of meditation? And no wrong answer to that. I'm just curious if anybody does meditate. I'm not seeing any hands, okay? That's okay. Meditation enhances any of our abilities, okay? And that can be just quiet time for yourself, and maybe even just doing some breathing, 3 cleansing breaths. Guides will often say, inhaling divine healing light. Think of it as source light or positive energy, however you want to think of that. The inhale is that, you hold it for 4 seconds, and exhaling any stress, worry, fear, anxiety on the exhale. And they'll often say, do it 3 times. It's a very good way to ground yourself and always center yourself that way, okay? So that's just a little tip on that. I mentioned meditation because, like I said, anytime you strengthen that ability and you're able to do that, it just enhances, again, your own abilities to communicate and be able to hear, right, or experience. So when this topic is about how do you communicate with your animals, it is about quiet time, quieting yourself, sending those thoughts telepathically, and start trusting what you might be getting, okay? That's really the best way I can say that. I'm gonna have a little practice if you would like to do this with me. It doesn't take long. Do any of you have pets at home right now? That's probably a definite, right? Yeah, I mean, we have some now. We don't now, is what I meant to say, because they're in spirit. But yeah, I know that feeling too, and you kind of miss them and all that good stuff. What I'd like you to do, if you're game in doing this, it's just a quick little exercise. And it's just to kind of get you into this, it's super simple, is to close your eyes for a moment. Take a moment just to close your eyes, okay? And I would like you to take that inhale of that breath, breathing in divine healing light. Just hold it for a moment. And then exhale any stress, worry, anxiety, fear, doubt, etc. So it's inhaling positive, releasing negative. This is, again, just to get you in that nice quiet state a little bit, okay? And what you can do is imagine now your beloved pet that's at home, or may I add, has transitioned. It really doesn't matter. I'm gonna let you pick on that, whether they're home, here, or they're in spirit. Go ahead and picture them in your mind's eye. And send them some love, really positive thoughts, and that way you're connecting with them, right? Your beautiful, beloved pet. And now what I'd like you to do is ask the question. I'm doing this as I'm just thinking what the question I want you to ask. How about just simply, how are you feeling? Asking your pet this, how are you feeling? I want you to trust whatever comes to you. I don't want you to worry if that's my own thoughts. It doesn't matter. I want you just to trust what you're getting, okay? Give me just a second to do that. Okay. And what I'd like you to do is remember that for a moment, whatever you received, okay? Because I'm going to ask anybody who wants to share in a second. I won't put you on the spot too much, just see, okay? How about this one? You're mama, you're referring to yourself as mama, or if you are daddy, then you're daddy, okay? So why don't you ask them this question now? What is it that you need mama or daddy to know right now about you? What would you like mama or daddy to know that we need to know about you? And just let some thoughts come in. Again, you're not worrying about where they come from, if they're legit or not. I'm just going to trust it for a moment here. Okay, and when you are done with that, or you have it in your in your mind there, and you can remember that. Does anybody? I'd love to hear what anybody got, even if it's very simple. I'm curious what came to any of you. Do you mind sharing? How about the first one? Because we said, how are you? How are you doing? Now I know some of you had your eyes closed. So I'm just curious, does anybody want to share? Yes.
I'm warm and it's sunny all the time.
I'm warm and it's sunny all the time? I know, I love that. And is this one that transitioned? Okay, what's that one's name? Tanner. So I do hear yes to that, and that you don't need to worry about me, mama, okay? Because sometimes you do, which would be normal. I'm just giving you what I'm hearing, okay? This is exactly what I hear. I am so loved, and I need you to know that I am so loved, okay? I love it because Tanner is echoing about the angels that are there and really letting us know that there's angels. Okay, and how about the second part, which was, what do they need you to know, even though it sounds like he's telling you right now, but what did you receive for that, you remember?
Just that.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine, that's fine. What, I want to share this really quickly too, thank you for sharing that. That one time I know that I was checking on somebody's animal, and it was the most beautiful picture, and I wasn't, I was just opening up to hear, but I saw, it was about somebody's kitty cat, and I saw that cat on this beautiful ethereal being. All I know is they were sitting down, and I saw this cat curled up on, I'm going to say it on an angel's lap, because that's exactly what it looked like. And I just like, ooh, that just said everything. I thought, wait, that brought me some peace. I don't know about the other person I was reading for, but it brought me a lot of peace to see that, because really that's what's kind of happening there. So thank you for that. Anybody else want to share? Yeah.
I couldn't think of which animal, so I've had
Okay.
three, Punch and Golden and Amanda, right? Sandy
Okay.
and Amanda. So I was thinking of all three of them, and I clearly heard, we're okay, we're great.
Yes.
It was so weird, because I couldn't think of which one I wanted, and what I got was, we're okay, we.
I love that. And I'm going to tell you the truth here, just because I've been doing this a very long time, right? That is very common of what you will hear. So I always say, if I get goosebumps or if I get the chills, oh, that's truth. I felt it for you, and I'm feeling it for you. Because that is a very common response they'll give us. And they did it collectively, right? Which kind of makes sense, It's a little easier for them, and we are all one, and they are all one, and they know that, you're concerned about them. So often the messages will be, and even loved ones will be that way. They're just first reassuring us that they're okay. Because quite frankly, when we all transition and we had an opportunity to say something to our loved ones, we're gonna first let them know that we're all right, that we survived death, we're okay. You know I will. You know, maybe I'll drop in some other things too and hope that they hear it. But the first thing I'm gonna be saying is not to worry, I'm at peace. So that is, yeah, no, that's wonderful. That was something for you, okay? I do feel that. And give me their first names again. Punch. Are these dogs or cats?
Boston, yeah, and then Sandy, a golden, and then Amanda, my very first dog.
Okay, I don't know if I'll be able to remember all that. That's just because it's just me. Okay, well, what they're showing me is also looking up at you. Really like being around you, looking up at you, so that means you're visiting. Again, no surprise. Let me see here. Do you get out to visit people much? Because they kind of want you out visiting people. I don't know what that's about, but that's what I heard. Okay? Do you get out of the house much? I know I'm asking kind of personal questions here, but whatever you want to
I
say.
did the organ procurement, so yes, I'm with families in their dearest moments, yes.
Okay, so,
They know the dogs know, yeah.
okay. So maybe that's part of that. Sometimes I don't know if it's like what you're doing or like you need to do it. I just get the word, so that's why I have to ask kind of, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I like to do it with people, yes.
Okay, good, okay. They said, and that's more, excuse me, more of a spiritual look, I think, because they said you need to. So that's part of your agreement in this lifetime. You what? I'm sorry?
I'm a chaplain, so.
Oh, you're chaplain. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so that tells me exactly, it's your calling, is what they were saying, basically, is what they mean by that, right? Your agreement, yeah. Okay, good. So they love you doing it. They're just, they're just like supporting you on that, I guess, right? Okay. Does anybody else want to share anything? Yes?
So what was the first question?
You guys gotta remind me. It was, I think it's how they're feeling, right? I think it was, how are you feeling?
Well, my first vision was I have one that's passed and then one that's at home.
Okay.
And the one that passed,
It's okay. We know how emotional it can be, absolutely. You just take your breath.
said, oh, it's okay, don't worry about me. You can focus on the one that's at home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and,
That reminds me of something I'll share later. Remind me to tell you, yeah.
so the one at home was saying, yeah, I'm doing fine, just enjoy yourself, I miss you, but I want you.
Yeah. Okay. Right, because they know. So what will help even more with that in the future, right? Again, you go someplace, just send it to them always. Exactly what you're going to be doing, that you'll be back, how many moons maybe, if that helps them. Yeah, so I was going to say something about my own kitty cats with that, like when we were gone. And they would assure us that they understand that we need to, getting out of the lights here, that we need to go and do fun things sometimes. And sometimes I used to explain it to them that way. And they probably already knew it, But I would say humans just need to go out of the house. In fact, Jake has told me since, like, he was kind of amazed because now he can sort of not follow me, but he can check in on me, right? And get to see that we're out there doing all these things. So that's a new, something new for the animals in a sense. And I know that Teddy, our other cat, that was before Jake passed, he was a little bit up there too, 14, 15. But after he had passed, he knew that I now needed to put my attention, so it reminds me of that, on our other kitty cat now, the 21-year-old, almost 21-year-old. And he would say to me, he would drop in. I call these drop-ins sometimes if like they're unsolicited. In other words, I haven't tuned in and tried to get the information, and it just comes to me. I call those drop-ins. So Teddy said to me, he dropped in. He said, "Mama, Jake needs to come home." And so I was like, "Wow, okay." But clearly, he's nearing his end life cycle, so that would be obvious. But Teddy was like, "No, Mama," and so it was another, I forget how many months later, but then, Jake did pass. Yeah, go ahead.
Message from one.
Yeah, let me see. So, what was the name again? Pepper? Is the dog, cat? I just like to know, just because dog, Pepper, I would assume, right? I think my husband had a dog named Pepper.
A poodle.
It is a dog growing up, yeah. Okay, Pepper, who is in spirit, yes? Okay, thank you. That's an interesting thing I heard. Pepper says, I don't hate being here. I don't think I've ever heard this. He says, I'm saying he, I'm assuming it's a he. She think, doesn't matter, yeah, okay. I don't know, I'm just asking you, yeah. Okay, so, she, I just want to make use the right pronoun, whatever that is. She says that I don't hate it here. I didn't really want to leave, but I knew it was time for me to go. So I'm just getting trucked a little bit because she's definitely a soul, just like people can be. There are some animals who may have a concern about transitioning. And it may be because they don't want to leave their person, you know? It could be for various reasons, just like a human soul can be that, you know, is reluctant to transition. Most of us will, gladly. But I'm just saying there are some. So Pepper, why is it that you had a little bit of a hard time, sweetie? Why did you have a hard time or thought it would be a little difficult? I am hearing that. I didn't want to leave you. I knew it would be difficult, but I'm learning. I'm learning still. I'm learning, and I'm also learning that it's okay to be happy. So I'm just going to say, from what I'm hearing, if it was me, I would be sending just a lot of thoughts to Pepper that absolutely you are okay with Pepper transitioning completely, being on the other side, being loved, and going to that other place. How long ago did she pass? Yeah, interesting. Because I do feel like she does have a real connection in that way. So I think, honestly, I think she's just a soul that kind of needs more of that encouragement. Okay? So just think about kind of just telepathically sending those thoughts. She is happy where she's at. She's not, you know, she's not liking it, but it was funny how she said that. I don't hate it, she says, but it's just interesting how that came in. For some reason, she's saying she gives you a lot of credit for what you've done. It's getting very wise. She says, Mama, don't do anything people are telling you to do. Do what you want to do, is what I'm hearing her say. Because you need to. Okay? Does that make any sense to you? I'm just the deliverer, so yeah, just curious. Okay? She's okay. She's okay. She's at peace. She's loved. And you're eternally loved. I love that. Yeah. She says she did not suffer. Never suffered. Okay? Okay, and you said you have one here? That's here? And what? Longo? Did I say that? Pongo. With a P. Yeah, I do remember that. Okay, Pongo is here with you now. Pongo. Male or female, just so I call the right male, thank you, Pongo. I keep hearing support yourself. Because you need to. So Pongo is there to really help you, because again, whenever I get the animal looking up at their owner, it's a lot of like trying to get that message to you that they're there for the reason of you, helping you understand your own support of yourself. I'm not sure what that's about exactly, but that's the message I'm getting. Okay? Pongo, what do you want to see her do more of, Mama? Do more of? I get like be on her own. So you're learning something about independence right now, and your own journey of that. Okay? So just kind of know Pongo's there in your life to help you with this. Okay? Ah, could be. That's interesting. Yeah, if you're in a situation like that, that could make some sense. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Anybody else want to ask, because I'll just open up a little bit. I'm just checking my time here every so often. I know there's other things going on. I'm happy to kind of, tune in the best I can. You just all need, you'll need first name of your pet, and if they're here, or if they're there. Oh, sorry, wait. Oh, okay, I just saw her first, and then, yes, we'll do next, yes.
My name's Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
I have a granddog that is my soul dog.
Oh, I love
If I go
that.
down there, that dog is mine.
Love it.
It's really sick.
Yeah, I'm going to past life already. I'm just getting a connection of past lifetime for you with this animal.
He's still here.
Yeah, no, I mean like in previous times where you've been together. So that's why this connection is so strong now. Do you understand? Okay, so meaning other lifetime together, you've had a lifetime with this dog or this soul. Might not have been a dog. I'm gonna look at that in a minute, maybe for you. Okay, I'm sorry, what's the dog's name you should tell me?
Jack.
Jack. Okay, Jack.
And I was the first person to pick him up. And he got really sick. And I took care of him.
Mhm.
So every time, I only see him like maybe every other month. When I'm down there, he's my dog. He is.
Wow, he's like, Grandma's here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll hear my voice on the phone.
Wow, okay. Jack. Jack. Okay, first thing I hear, and obvious of what you said, that he knows that you're his, I'm gonna say grandma, right, in a sense, and that you two do have that special bond. Okay, he's trying to tell me something like, he knows that you're not always able to participate in his life, but when you are, he's there for you, because long ago, you see, you two were together as friends. Carpenter, I see you as a carpenter at that time. You were a carpenter in another lifetime. So bear with me on this. I'm going to get into past lifetime stuff. So let's have some fun with it, even if you don't really believe it. I'm getting that you're a carpenter. And I heard something about him being a Jack Russell. Now, I don't always get breeds, but I heard he's
Part Jack Russell and part,
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting combination. And that could be maybe there's a little thing with that, but I feel like other lifetime that happened as well. You were good friends then. He followed you everywhere. You see, like, it's kind of like, then it was like, come on, boy, like you're saying to him. And I see tools. This was representing you as a carpenter. That was your trade. And that, he wants you to know that he's still with you. He'll be with you always. But that wasn't coincidental is what I'm hearing, that he kind of came to you. You know what I mean? Like there was that bond. And like I said, we'll often have connections from their lifetime with our pets anyway. So from my perspective, it's not too surprising, but it's always kind of fun to hear about it if you're nudging me in that direction. I just hear keep up the good work. That could be from your guides too, like, that connection that you have together, okay? So yeah, just send them some love. And you can even tell them that sometime, maybe when you're by yourself with them or something. So you don't sound too crazy, but you could say, I know we've had our lifetimes together. When I was like the carpenter, remember the tools that Dad would always have to carry around? And Bob, I just got Bob, your name was Bob. So you might have been a Robert, but I got Bob. Carpenter Bob. Anyway, yeah, that's what we're getting for that. Okay? Thank you. Okay? Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
So I just lost 3 of my little dogs.
I just lost 3 of my little
Talk
dogs
into the mic.
last year. Yeah, they were all older, senior dogs, 2 little mini dachshunds, and a Bruce. And he was a terrier mix, and I missed him horribly.
so much for that. Okay. We know grief is real. I just want to touch on that. That grief is real with our animals as it is with our people, loved ones, right? And we have to, just like with any grief, you make sure that you let yourself feel it completely, because you have to go through that. I've been there, many of us have, with animals. It's not a fun journey. It will get better, but it can take, takes time. So give me the name of them again, please.
Shotzi was my
Shotzi?
Shotzi was my little.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Say again?
Shotzi.
Shotzi. I'll say Shotzi. Okay, Shotzi.
Odie.
Odie.
That was the boy, and Bruce was the horse.
Okay, Shotzi, Odie, and Bruce. Okay, so I just heard, Mama, communicate with us. You haven't been as much as you were. We're here, and we love you. Don't worry about us. Like I said, it's a common one I hear. That's what I heard. We're in heaven, and we're at peace. We don't want you to worry about what's going on with us or what you've been through, because that was necessary, Mama. That's exactly how I heard it. That was necessary. And we all hold you dear here. You are very loved and protected still. Let's see. Bear with me, sorry. Just listening. Oh, I just heard, if you hear something, that's us. Do you hear things because that wouldn't be uncommon sometimes with our pets, but that is what they said.
Sometimes I like look over the couch and I think I see one over there.
Yeah.
Bruce. Yeah.
That can happen, that we see them as well. Sometimes it's through the peripheral, the side vision. That's pretty common for us to see spirit that way. I don't really know the reason for that. I have a guess that maybe it feels like a little safer that way than if we saw something right in front of us. It's possible that they're kind of approaching that way. Okay, but the hearing, they tell me that they bark. And then what they tell me is that there's this vibration, and that's how it will come across sometimes. It'll be the vibration of the bark, and you might feel them. We have everything under control. Oh, they told me they sleep with you. That warms my heart. I mean, personally hearing that. And we do get to be with you. So know that we are with you, and they're giving the word spirit in spirit. And oh my gosh, you're telling about angels too. They're saying angels everywhere. Angels everywhere. We're well taken care of. Okay. I don't know why they're showing me a green apple. I just say whatever I get. So I don't know if it makes any sense. If it doesn't, put it to the side. That I saw something about a green apple. It's like the Granny Smith, I guess, green apple. They said coming to you at nighttime is our favorite, because we know that you're relaxed. This is true. This is so true. We're relaxed. You're relaxed, and in that way we can communicate with you more. Okay, so that means like pretty much in that. That lucid state. We're very aware psychically, by the way. It's a good thing to when you first wake up, when you haven't woken up all the way, put a comment out to your guides or your animals, or whatever. Just love you, and you might be able to hear things a little easier. And that's just because you're out. Then we get back in our bodies, we're all ego and we're all of that kind of stuff, right? So then we're not as clear. So I've just got a few minutes left. So thank you so much for that. They're doing great. They're loved. Yeah. Yes. Oh, bless you. Okay. Okay, absolutely.
You can read it out loud.
Okay. Hi, I'll cry if I say it out loud. I'm Cindy. Hello, Cindy. Thinking about my 22-year-old cat, Jinx, a female who passed away 18 months ago. I'm sorry for your loss. She told me, you didn't need me anymore. You've got this now. and that she's happy and she's in the sun. So that's what you received, is what you're saying, right? Wow, I got the chills again, so I love that. I love that. I'm just rereading this part. So that is what she received, was that you didn't need me anymore. You've got this now, and that she's happy and she is in the sun. That's beautiful. Jinx, Jinx, Jinx. Cindy's kitty cat, Jinx. Okay, my guides are coming in with this first. Sometimes they'll do it first. They just said she's so happy. She knows that you understand. She's at peace. She knows that you know. She just knows that you know. Sorry if I'm not talking loud enough. And she wants you to know that this is not the end. We all go on. That's what I'm hearing, okay? And we do, it's interesting, I got it like surrender. It's almost like surrender to source, surrender to death, however you want to put it, right? But it's like you surrender. But at the same time, we're very much alive. And we do come and go. So this is collectively, that Jinx is a pretty, I will say, she's a bit of an old soul. You know, she feels that way to me. I mean, yeah, old soul is used a lot, I know, but yeah, but I feel like she is very intelligent in that way, right? And has some experience. She says to you, Mama, give yourself credit for what you do. Although you're not really doing that all the time, I feel like you need to. You need to do that. You need to tell yourself what a good job you do. Are you working still or anything, or do you know what that is? Do you understand that? It's to me, it's an interesting statement. That's why I'm wondering. Crediting ourselves is something our guides often say we need to do more of anyway, right? So it may be in that category. And even our animal friends will know that, you know, that kind of thing. Because remember, they're healers. They're here to help with some of these, you know, issues we have, right? I hear, like, tell her that I love her, and that every time she hears a meow, that's me. So, you know, kind of like whenever you hear the bell, an angel gets its wings, it's symbolic for something. That's what she's saying. So when you hear, which you may hear a lot of meows, I don't know, but she wants you to know at that time she's with you, okay? It's important for her to know that. So I would definitely listen to that. If I was told that, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna pay attention to that when I'm hearing. Do you have any other animals, or? Okay. There's a what in the casino? Oh my gosh. That may not be coincidental then. There may be something, if you've been like playing that or something. Okay, so just say, put a shout out to James then when you hear that meow. I haven't seen that. That's funny. Okay, so that's the message I'm getting, okay, for you on that. Something our guides say, kind of along the lines, because now I know I have to wrap this up for us. Our guides will say, yeah, I'll just end with this, that pay attention to the times that you suddenly think of your animal. And what I mean by that is, like, again, I call it unsolicited. You don't have a reason to, but suddenly you're thinking of them, right? And what happens, they tell us, is that as human beings, we go directly to the loss, into the grief. Understandably, we're human, right? So we might feel instantly like, oh my God, I miss them so much, I'm so sad, you know? And they tell us that that's actually the time when they're with you. And the reason you suddenly thought of them is because you picked up on it. Like they nudged you somehow, or intuitively. We're all psychic. That was talked about in the other thing. We all have abilities. Suddenly, you know, you felt them, or you knew they were there. So, okay, give yourself like a nanosecond of being sad, and then the suggestion is you immediately go to a really loving memory of them. Okay, a picture in your mind or a memory that you had with them, because that's what they want for us. They don't want us, just like our loved ones, they don't want us staying in grief for very long. They understand it, but you know, not for very long. Okay? So I'm just gonna say thank you so much for for participating in this, and I hope it was, helpful just to hear some things. So remember, verbally, telepathically, that you send information to your animals. They, just helps them receive it a little bit more, okay? They are at peace when they've passed. Not to worry about that. Think of the good times, okay? All right, thank you very much.
Card.
Oh, yes, my husband just reminded me. I do have my business cards over here, if anybody would like one. If I run out, you just take a picture of one of them that's there. And again, you can, it's all my social media is on there, and my website has a contact form, etc. Yes? I don't know. This is kind of up to Holly. We do have more C days, so maybe. Thank you. I appreciate that. So maybe we can squeeze something else in. Thank you. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Good evening.